Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In Mobile's Cooper Riverside Park, there stands a statue of Pierre Lemoyne d'Iberville, the French founder of Mobile, a statue which is identical to another statue located in Havana, Cuba. This statue is just one example of the robust ties between the city of Mobile, located in my congressional district, and Cuba. These ties go all the way back to Spanish colonization in the 18th century. It's safe to say that I represent a district that stands to benefit from improved relationships with Cuba. In fact, the port of Mobile is a straight shot to Cuba and could be an important economic hub, just as it was going back to the 18th century. Under the right circumstances, I would gladly support lifting the trade embargo with Cuba and improving diplomatic relations. Unfortunately, now is not that time. The economic benefits should not come at the cost of enabling a ruthless regime that is unwilling to change. Once again, the President seems to be more interested in a publicity stunt than in a substantive solution. The White House will tell you that this action is no different than previous efforts to improve relations with other communist countries like Vietnam or China. Here's the problem with that premise. In each of those cases, the President engaged with Congress in a serious conversation and debate about the best path forward. A plan was developed, serious concessions were agreed to, and each nation mutually benefited from these meaningful actions. Unfortunately, in the case of Cuba, President Obama has again decided to cut Congress out of the process and act alone, with no real plan to accomplish his stated goal. This approach is the wrong way for our government to operate, and it has once again resulted in a bad deal. Columnist Charles Krauthammer put it best when he said, "You know how to achieve a breakthrough in tough negotiations? Give everything away." Mr. Speaker, I can't help but ask, what reforms Cuba will make as a result of this deal? Let's not forget, this is the same Cuba, under the same regime, who during the Cold War had nuclear missiles on their soil aimed at the United States of America. This is the same Cuba that refuses to let the church operate freely. This is the same Cuba that worked with Venezuela and North Korea against the interests of the United States. This is the same Cuba that has been accused again and again of egregious human rights violations. Nothing has changed in those areas at all, and the Castro brothers are still in power. Now, there is a path forward for improved diplomatic relations and ending the trade embargo. The Castro regime must go. Political activity must be legalized. Public commitments to free and fair elections must be made. An independent judiciary must be established. Rights to free speech and freedom of the press must be guaranteed. Cuba must renounce the policy of being a staging area against the United States. Political prisoners must be freed. The Cuban citizens must be treated with respect and dignity and be provided with the basic freedoms we often take for granted here in the U.S. Under those conditions, and with a president willing to work with Congress, the embargo could be lifted and progress truly begin. So, Mr. Speaker, I find myself once again coming to this floor to implore President Obama to abandon his ill-conceived independent executive action and instead come to the Capitol, work with this Congress, share ideas, collaborate, and together we can make a real positive impact on behalf of the American people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.